That's bullshit. This is what I'm using all morning. November 8th, X-Ray Lima, Quebec. Ladies and gentlemen, the YouTube page is up and running if you want to get plugged into that just a little bit before Jeff starts up with his program. N8XLQ, Lenny over here, Huron City. And the YouTube page channel, Lenny Round N8XLQ. So there you go. So you don't have to go fussing around with it while Jeff's trying to talk to you. Lenny, N8XLQ, standing by for the net. I don't need this. All right then. Okay, you two cat dog people, no more talking. You're a good girl, Jade. Yeah. K9, Jade, my radio assistant today. I gotta say that the Wi-Fi has better video quality than Bluetooth. I gotta say that the Wi-Fi has better video quality than Bluetooth. I gotta say that the Wi-Fi has better video quality. Let's turn that down. Than Bluetooth.
WB8LLY.
There, that won't happen again. That's funny. Oh.
how about the Mansfield, or excuse me, almost skipped the polk repeater. Anybody on the polk repeater, that's 443-625 machine with or without traffic, call now. Morning, Jeff. Kilo Echo 8, Romeo Whiskey, November, time in New London. Morning, Tom. KE8RWN. Nice signal, Tom, from New London this morning. Thank you. Anybody else on the polk repeater, with or without traffic, call now. Right now we get to the Mansfield repeater. We don't know that it's on the air or not, but we like to check. Anybody on the 443.075 Mansfield repeater, with or without traffic, call now.
Daisy's calling. Daisy's calling on Mansfield. That's funny.
Okay, how about the Berlin-Heiser repeaters? Anybody on any of the three Berlin-Heiser repeaters, 146.805, the 442.675, or the 6-meter 53.29 repeaters, call now.
NAQQI, Jim, Florence Township. Morning, Jeff. November 8, Foxtrot Micro Juliet. Tom in Erie County.
I might have missed one or two here. I got Jim, NAQQI. Good morning, Jim. Nice signal. Good to hear you this morning. NAFMJ, good morning, Tom. Got you. Nice signal. And then there were a couple stations that double. Let's get Claire. You call first, Claire. We'll take you first.
All right, WH8 Collins this morning, Jeff. No traffic. Thank you.
Okay, it's shot you up at the I got Whiskey Kilo Bravo. Do I got your call right, Claire?
It's Whiskey 8 Kilo Foxtrot. Whiskey 8 Kilo Foxtrot.
Whiskey Kilo Foxtrot. All right. And I have you checked in. Good signal, by the way. And who's the other station? Anybody else on any of the three Berlin Heights repeaters, with or without traffic, call out.
KE8 VOX, Scott in Vermilion Township. No traffic.
Lenny,
N8XLQ, Huron City. YouTube's up. Really nice signal, by the way, from Vermilion Township. Thank you for checking in, Scott. Anybody else on any of the three Berlin Heights repeaters? Lenny, N8XLQ, Double Cross Main Repeat. It's up on YouTube, boss. Morning, Lenny. N8XLQ. Nice signal, Lenny. And Lenny says everything's up on YouTube, so go there and check out your signal there. Check out the web page, or the YouTube page. Anyone else on any of the three Berlin Heights repeaters, call out. right now, the critical frequency of the F2 layer is 7.363 megahertz.
That's fun. Look at see.
And the F2 layer right now is right around 250 kilometers high. The critical frequency for the F1 layer is at 5.3 megahertz.
Radio Kitty.
The critical frequency for the E layer, believe it or not, we've had pretty well-defined E layers here lately, is 3.43 megahertz at an altitude of approximately 85 to 90 kilometers. So, just a little information as you study radio tickets or studying propagation. We talk about the different there with the Cheyenne gong in absence of the ISS. But, oh wait, there's more. I did look up for field day, okay? And for all you hardcore field day people that will be out there overnight, I'll give you a little sneak peek on what's going on.
Good morning. The time is...
This will be the ISS, and this will be Sunday, June 25th.
That's right. Forgot about that. There you go. G-Man brought the game there.
Hi, Gary, WW8H. Good signal, Gary. Thanks for checking in and thanks for the information. So today is Flag Day, and the U.S. Army's birthday. Didn't know that. I think it's Donald Trump's birthday today, too, if I'm not mistaken. That's kind of interesting.
That's awesome.
All right, good info. Anybody else? Anybody else out there would like to check in? Call now. Let's keep going here. Don't forget to look up your service manual for your ICOM 7300. We'll be looking at that here in a little bit. You can find it online. Just Google it. And we'll have a little bit of fun, and you can learn a little bit on how to read a schematic. All right, take a look at the swap shop. check that out. Now, there was something that they do that caught my eye. It's almost over with, so it's not going to be of any value to anybody this year. But it's something that some clubs might want to think about maybe doing something like this. Or, if nothing else, maybe if you're in the Huntington, West Virginia area, you might be interested in attending, maybe if they do it next year. What am I talking about? Well, they do a tube radio repair and restoration course. As a matter of fact, this year they did it. It ran from April the 28th to July the 8th, just on Fridays. So here's what they have to say about it. I thought this was really neat. Some folks visiting our museum tell us about a radio that belonged to their grandparents or parents that has been in the family for decades and no longer works, or whose working status is unknown. So these same individuals express an interest in getting that radio operating again, but have a lot of questions. Who fixes these things? Are there still parts available? And if so, where do you get parts? So to say, what about schematic diagrams and other information about the radio? Where can that be found? Well, the short answer is pretty much yes to all of that. Yes, there are people that can restore this vintage equipment, and yes, parts, including the radio tubes themselves, although no longer made, are still relatively easy to find. And yes, for the most part, schematic and technical information, they all still exist. About fixing Granddad's radio yourself? Well, the Museum of Radio Technology offers a radio repair course, and they did it this spring specifically for individuals who have little or absolutely no electronic background. That's hard to believe, but with a desire to bring that old radio back to life again.
That's all it takes. Desire.
So this course, or the course that they've done, is centered on a classic 5-tube radio type called the All-American 5. It was the AA5 AM radio, made by dozens of United States companies from the late 1930s up through 1960s. There were millions of these radios produced, and it has formed the basis for home broadcast receivers after World War II. So if you're interested in learning how to fix an old tube radio yourself, here's a little more information. Well, here's the scope of their course. To teach an individual with no electronic background the basic skills to troubleshoot and repair an All-American 5 tube-type radio. Again, this year it's already underway. It wraps up on July the 8th. But so this was a 10-week course. It started Friday, April 28th of this year, and it ran through, or will run through July the 8th. Now the venue is the Museum of Radio and Technology. It's in Huntington, West Virginia. Most of us probably aren't going to make a special trip down for that. But again, just information in case for some reason you might be interested in learning something like this. Classes are 2 hours long, starting at 7 p.m. finishing at 9 p.m. each Friday evening. A typical class is divided into 1 hour for classroom instruction and 1 hour for hands-on lab work. Well, MRT will provide the tools, the test equipment, and even a 5-tube radio to repair if you don't have one of your own to work on. Now, there is a cost. The cost of the course is $200, paid the first night of the class. The student will also need to bring a 3-ring binder to hold the class handout material, a pencil, a calculator capable of doing scientific notation. Most modern cell phones have that capability already built into them. And there might be a textbook that you'll need to purchase from Amazon. And at this writing, they said they were reviewing several, and they would let you know when you can sign up for the course. Now, the classes they did are limited to 6 participants. And they say they needed a minimum of 3 individuals to hold the class. So a gentleman by the name of Bob Ripley is the one that was in charge. And again, this is down Huntington, West Virginia area. Most of us aren't going to probably make a special trip down there for something like this, but somebody might. And more importantly, what a neat idea. weather messages during extreme weather events and AM's robust nature among underrepresented communities, such as minorities and individuals who do not speak English. The association represents all 50 of the United States as well as Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico, and it supports the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act, a bipartisan bill passed recently in Congress. Although many manufacturers of electric cars claim RF interference to be an issue between AM broadcast radio and the vehicle's electronic systems, Ford Motor Company recently reversed its decision to do away with the service in its Ford and vehicles. Now to wrap it up here, there's a related move by the National Association of Farm Broadcasting. They launched a website advocating for the retention of AM services, reiterating the importance of AM, especially the importance of it in rural communities. Now they got something else going on that I thought was pretty neat. So if you were to Google or go to the URL NAFB, November generate a 0 and a 1, you would generate a symbol of plus 3, we'll say plus 3 volts. That will modulate the radio and cause it the carrier to shift from the center frequency to a plus or positive 1050 hertz. If you do that, your radio will be transmitting a 0 and a 1. That's what will be decoded at the other end. And you can go on here, if you want to transmit, let's see, we did FM terminology, 4C, 4FM mapping. It's supposed to be plus or minus 600 and plus or minus 1800. Looking in some of the manuals for some of the various AC Fusion radios on their spec sheets, when they talk about transmission mode, Alright, so whenever anybody's still awake here, we'll get through this pretty quick. Alright, if you do have a schematic in front of you, if you're looking at PA unit PA1, if you look to the top left of the schematic diagram, just to the right of where it says DCN, where the 13.8 volts DC comes in as PA board, if you look to your right there, you'll see a Zener diode. Looks like, boy, it's hard to read that. Looks like D
good to go again. Back to you, KE8ERN.
I knew you'd do it, Jim. I knew you'd get it. It's just they had a few more gray hairs. Everybody that's got a computer's been through that at least a couple times. And if they haven't, they will be. We all know that. Anyway, good deal. Thanks for being there. Yeah, next Wednesday there, if you can remember to jot down a couple S-meter noise floor readings for 80 and 40 meters, that'll be awesome.
Enjoy your lunch. We're going to be clear. KE8ERN.
I will. I'm getting hungry. Talk to you later, Jim. Man, I'm glad you got your computer going there. Have a good one, Jim. Still out there. Thanks, Lenny. WBREI, now clear and headed to lunch.
Thanks for running the net, Jeff. This is Lenny, DPS. See you guys next week.
For dropping in here, and good to hear your voice. Got a great signal from up in Parma, by the way. Really appreciate you checking in. Have a good one. Have a good week. NATPS, WDREI.
November 8, X-Ray Lima, Quebec, YouTube drop. Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week. N8XLQ.
N8XLQ clear.